Stepsons, in this video I'm going to show you how to replace a faucet on a garden hose. Alright, I am at my sister's house. This is where the leaky faucet is. I'm going to show you that in a minute, but this is probably the wrong time to do it because it's a hot part of the day, but it's when I'm available, so that's what we're going to do. These are the tools we're going to need to do it. This one shuts off the water to the sprinkler system because the hose valve is part of the sprinkler system. Pipe wrench to hold the pipe, the crescent wrench to undo the valve, and then some Teflon tape to put on the new valve once we get that one. Here's the outside spigot, hose bib, valve, a number of different terms to it. So it comes up out of the ground right there. It doesn't look like it's leaking. But notice over here, she screwed the hose on, and underneath that little sprinkler head, there's a puddle of wet on the brick. I'll just take the hose off. Then it's moist and it's dripping. So that's the problem. Part of the trick to a sprinkler system shutoff is knowing where the valve is. In this yard, the hole for that is right here. Here's the cap. You can see it's got those two little recesses. I bet my crescent wrench will work for that. It fits in these slots. So I'm just going to put it in there, and then I get the leverage to turn it, and then I can pop it off. I'm just going to have to do it by feel. So I put this down here, feel when it's on the valve, and I'm going to turn it a quarter turn. Okay, so that's a quarter turn. The real test will be if I open it up and there's no flow. So I've got the water off to the sprinkler system. If the hose valve is connected with the sprinkler system, then you turn the water off like I showed you with the sprinkler system. However, if it comes out of the house like that one does, then you have to find the water main in your house and turn it off there. In our house, the water main comes in through this utility closet that's in our downstairs bathroom. There's our water main. That's what you would look for in your house, wherever that may be, so that you can turn that water off if it's not a faucet associated with the sprinkler system. This, depending on how you screw it, makes it smaller or bigger. So I actually want to fight or hold this steady against my loosening of the upper valve. Grab onto that like that, and then put this one on here. Why are they never easy? If this doesn't work, I might just need bigger wrenches. This joint was pretty tight. I found some WD-40, squirted it on the joint. I found a couple of pipes. In this context, we would call those cheater bars. With the WD-40 on there and the cheater bars, one pipe, which is a long one, can go on the pipe wrench, and that makes the handle a lot longer. And I've got another shorter one that actually works with the crescent wrench, so I can hold that on there, and then I've got a lot more leverage. Now that it's broken loose, hopefully it will turn the rest of the way, and it is. So I can take this now to the hardware store and get the replacement part. If you're getting any value out of these, then hit the like button. I took this part to the hardware store, and they didn't have one just like it, which is a little surprising. They had one in a different size, but what they did have was this one, which if I put this in at that orientation, the hose is going to come up like this. So that's less than ideal. So in addition to that, I bought an elbow that I can screw in, and that will bring it to a more normal hose level. So I've got two joints to replace it with one. That's less than ideal. Every joint is a potential leak path, but we should be okay. I'm going to thread this back into the pipe that it came out of. But one thing we want to do before we just do that is put something called Teflon tape. This is a sealant that when you put it on threads, or thread tape, they'll call it that too, it fills the gap so you have less opportunity for leaks. So I've got about 3 times around, and I just pull it till it tears off. So now that's on the threads. When that goes in the joint, that will act to fill the gaps between the threads. Gives you a higher likelihood that it's going to seal. I'm going to do this first, and then I'll thread this one into the horizontal port. And by the way, guys and everyone,
The long speech I give the young man sounds like you need to hear a piece of it.
This is a male and this is a female for obvious reasons. When you're talking about pipes and fittings and nuts and bolts, you make references to the male and the female for those reasons so that you know you're getting the right part and so you can communicate that to other people.
Those young men will be okay now.
It's not funny, it's not dirty, that's just how you refer to it. So let's put this in. Now I shouldn't need the cheater bars to thread it back in. Hopefully this will line up so that it's pointing out the right way. So I don't know if you noticed, but I turned that backwards to make sure it started in the threads. If you cross thread something, then you can damage the threads, and you don't want to do that because that will be a leak path, and then you've got to replace the bottom part as well as the top part. I'm going to put this on here and hold this. Always put the smaller tooth towards the direction of force that you're going to apply. In this case, I'm going to counter the force on this to just snug it up. Okay, now I'm running a risk of it's going to snug up facing a direction I don't want it to. I need to either try to rotate it all the way around again or hope it seals here, but that's awfully loose, so I'm going to have to go for it and see if I can get it to torque even further and go all the way around. Looks like I'll be okay. In fact, I'll probably be better that way. I want it to face forward pretty much, so I'm going to stop it there, and that should be a good seal. Here's the valve. Here's the Teflon tape. Hold it with my finger until I get it all the way around. Don't put too much pressure. Once you've overlapped it, then you can tug on it and give it a little more tension. Well, this one likes to slip. All right, there we go. So 2-3 times around, and then I just pull it till it tears. And then with my finger, roll that till it's smooth. Now we're going to want the same thing here. When I thread this in, hopefully it will end up, or we will torque it until it ends up facing generally down. Now that's pretty stiff. Ideally, I'd like to torque it a little bit more than that because I'm only going to get another quarter turn here before it actually is in position where I want it. And then the question is that going to be enough for it to seal? And I guess we can find that out. So I'm going to shut this off. I'm going to turn the water back on now, and we'll see if this leaks or not. But now I see moisture here, so I'm going to let it sit for a little bit under pressure. I got a paper towel, and I dried that off to see, and sure enough, it starts seeping again. So I'm going to have to tighten this down a little bit more. The challenge is going to be how this faces when it's done. I still have the water pressure on right now, still seeping. Maybe I can go all the way around again. It is possible to over torque too, and you don't want to do that. That looks like it's slowing down. I'm going to try just a little bit more to see if I can get it to face the right direction. Well, now at least it's not facing the house. It's facing this way. I'm still seeing a hint of moisture. There. I'm not seeing any more moisture come up. I think we got it. Well, now I'm going to take this off, put the hose on it, and we should be done. I got some paper towel and I wiped that off. The exact same thing. Holy cow, that sun is right in my face. I can just muscle it if I got enough muscle, but apparently I don't.